Today's Retro Macintosh shenanigans are brought to you by Squarespace. But more on that in a bit. Well, I do believe that I owe you some improbable Minecraft. If you're just joining us, this is a rare power computing Macintosh clone from 1995, a machine that came out when Apple was nearly bankrupt and originally designed to run macOS 7. We've spent the past 3 weeks upgrading it as far as the original hardware would allow, with the centerpiece being one of the rarest Macintosh processor accelerators ever produced, a 1 GHz Sonic Crescendo PCI G4, of which less than 200 units were likely ever sold. This increased the clock speed of this once 150 MHz machine by over 566%. This is now, without a doubt, the single fastest 90s Macintosh clone in the world. But what good is all that raw power if we don't use it? That's why today we're going to try and get Minecraft running on hardware that predates Internet Explorer 3 by nearly a full year. So stay tuned. And if you enjoy spending enormous amounts of time and energy trying to eke out barely double-digit frame rates on hardware never intended to run modern games, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. All of you watching these videos every week really makes my ridiculous power bill worth it. So if you haven't seen the previous episodes on this build, I'll link to them right here. It was quite a journey. But for a quick recap, this is a power computing PowerWave Macintosh clone. We've upgraded it to a 1 GHz G4 with 1 gig of RAM, and it now boots natively from a 120 GB SATA SSD. And all of this is running on the original 1995 motherboard. Way back at the beginning of the build, I promised that we'd try and get Minecraft running on here, and today, we're going to try and do just that. Now, if you've been around the channel for a while, you might know that I have a weird obsession with getting Minecraft to run on machines that should never ever be able to run Minecraft. It's actually a very taxing game, despite the simple looking graphics. And we've gotten it running on all sorts of weird old Macs, including various old PowerBooks, and we even got written up in the register when we got it running on our extremely beefed up G4 Cube. But if we can get it running on this PowerWave, even if barely, it might very well be the oldest computer ever to run Minecraft. Allow me to illustrate. Back when this PowerWave was new in 1995, most people were running Windows 3.1 and DOS. The first ever website was created just 4 years earlier, in August 1991 by Tim Berners-Lee at CERN. And in 1995, Minecraft was not yet even a twinkle in Marcus Persson's eye. The famous creator of Minecraft, known to most as Notch, was only 16 years old, just starting secondary school in Sweden, and wouldn't hold his first real programming job at King for another 10 years. At least according to Wikipedia, which in 1995 was still 6 years away from going live. Now before we get into Minecraft, I have a quick update from the last video. I was able to more than double the performance of this G4 upgrade card with the Sonnet Cache installer program, which is actually still available from the Sonnet website. And if we look at the benchmarks we received when we first got this upgrade card fixed and up and running, we scored a 214. Now, when I enabled the cache, that jumped up to a 441. And just look at the machines that puts us in league with. PowerMac G4 Quicksilvers, iMac G4 17-inch, iBooks, PowerBook G4 1.5 gigahertz. So we're going to be using Minecraft version 1.2.5 from 2012. And PowerPC fans on the MacRumors forums have hacked together a special release of this version tuned for low-end Macs with G4 processors. And they also have one for G5 running version 1.5.2. And by tuned, I really mean detuned, with third-party plugins like Optifine included by default and configured for the lowest possible graphics settings. And on paper, it should work. The minimum requirements for this G4 tuned Minecraft are an 867 megahertz PowerPC G4 and 1 gig of RAM. So we are just barely over those minimum requirements. And I've also upgraded to the latest version of Java, which, funny enough, is still available via Apple servers in Software Update, which is just incredible to me. Let's download and install the G4 edition of Minecraft 1.2.5 and see what it's like on here. Speaking of software developers, you don't have to be one to use the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. In fact, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that puts creativity first, so you can build anything from your business's online presence to your personal blog with all the tools you'll need in one place. I've been a fan of Squarespace for a long time, and I've personally seen the quality that can be accomplished in my non-retro career in web development and digital marketing. That's because Squarespace is much more than a website builder. It's a full suite of tools that includes mobile-optimized websites, analytics, email campaigns, and more. I hope you'll check out squarespace.com/actionretro for a free trial and use code ActionRetro to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So if we decompress the executable, it contains a handy installer script, which as long as your Minecraft folder is on your desktop, will configure everything for us. And since we installed that nice purple Sonnet Firewire USB combo card, we can use a modern USB wireless mouse with a handy right click, which is much better than a single button mouse for Minecraft. So Minecraft was auto-magically installed in our applications folder, and this is a custom launcher built by the Mac Rumors folks. So we're going to try two things. First, we're going to play a local game, which includes generating a new world. And then second, we're going to play a network game on our Minecraft server, which has been running now for close to a year. Playing a local single-player game is actually much more taxing than playing a network game in this version of Minecraft, because playing locally means you're actually running both the local client and the network server at the same time on your computer. So we're going to try that first and see if we get anything close to even running, let alone a playable frame rate. And I've seen it do this kind of launch window with the blue kind of artifacting here, so I think that's fine as long as it launches. All right, there we go. So one thing we're going to do is put this into performance mode, which just means full screen. And if you're playing this on your own G4, I definitely recommend doing that. All you have to do is go into System Preferences and go to Dashboard and Expose, and you just have to turn off this desktop shortcut from F11, because F11 is actually the key to go into full screen mode in Minecraft. So now we can hit F11, and we are in performance mode. Well, my super janky video capture solution did not like capturing Minecraft at 640 by 480. So we're going to have to go with the more authentic experience of camera pointed directly at a CRT. But here we are in Minecraft, and the screen here is way smoother than I was expecting. Just the blurred background rotating on some of my other slow, low-end G4 machines, this would be extremely janky. But on here, it seems silky smooth. So first we're going to try single player, and I've generated a new world, which worked just fine. So now, let's play it. Alright, well, it's certainly taking its time to load in. There's some sheep in the background, and I appear to be underwater. Well, It seems that the frame rate is a bit slow here. Granted, I am in the most intensive biome possible, but if we press F3, we can get a readout of our stats, including our FPS, which is hovering at 2 to 3. That's pretty unplayable. But I bet if we can get out of this biome, it'll be a lot better. Okay, let's try to generate a world that'll be a little less intensive on this machine. So if we do a super flat world, that'll give us a baseline of what this machine can do under the best circumstance. All right, here we are in our super flat world, and we've actually loaded next to a village. And wow, that not being in the jungle makes a huge difference. This is actually playable now. Our frame rate is 14, 16, 17. Honestly, not too shabby. Yeah, this is working way better than I thought it would. I'm gonna go steal some of their farm stuff. Give me your wheat. Oh no, I've ruined their farm. Let's see if we can build a nice little brick house. All right, here's the action maison. And yeah, I was in the 20s for the duration of this build, and actually just looking only at our house, we're even touching 30 frames per second. That's pretty incredible for a computer from 1995. Yeah, walking around this village, super playable. Little drops here and there, but not too shabby. Don't look at me. Yeah, this is running way better than I thought it was going to. I am seriously impressed. Now, of course, this is a super flat world, so it's lacking all of our fun biomes and bells and whistles, but yeah, this is a playable Minecraft experience, and I think if you load a regular world and get lucky, just don't go in the jungle, you'll have a somewhat reasonable experience. All right, next up, let's do multiplayer. And here we have Action MC, which is my Minecraft server specifically set up for PowerPC Max to play on, running version 1.2.5 of the Bucket server, with a bunch of fun plugins. So we can join this server, and then I have to log in, so we'll hide that. And yeah, I am logged in to our Minecraft server, and once again, this seems totally playable. Check our frame rate. We're getting in the high teens, touching the 20s. Just out here in this little bit of forest next to the ocean. And yeah, it's totally playable, and chunks seem to load in much faster, of course, because it's an Intel Mac Mini running the server, taking care of all the chunks and stuff. Now, the big question is, what happens if we go to this server spawn point? Because there's a lot of fun stuff in this server, and it's not out here. It's all near spawn. The problem is spawn is so busy with stuff that it might be darn near impossible to move, but let's see what our frame rate is like. So /spawn puts me in spawn, and we're dropping down into the single digit frame rates. And here we are. Oh yeah, that's a bit chunky. But this is where the majority of the stuff that all the people on the server have built resides. And that building right there, that was my first house that I built in this server. Yeah, frame rate leaves something to be desired here in Spawn. Alright, let's see if we can sign this server's specs wall, which is over here. And this is where everyone who has played on this server has put a sign with the specs of the machine that they used to connect. And there's all sorts of fun stuff on here, from modern machines to really old Macs. And let's see if I can sign this. I think I saw somebody on an iBook in here. iBook G4 2005. Probably faster than this machine. But let's see if we can find the end of the specs wall with this kind of slideshow frame rate that we're getting, and put up a sign with the specs of this machine. Alright, the farther we get from Spawn, the slightly better the frame rate seems to get as we traverse the specs wall here. But I'm going to pop one right at the end here. So we're on a 1995 power computing PowerWave G4 1 friggin' gigahertz. Nice. Alright, now that we can move a little bit better, we can probably see some of the cool stuff people have built in our retro Minecraft server. There are tons and tons of DankPod references all throughout this server, by the way. Someone has built a Puxel battery. Yeah, people like DankPods, evidently. Which makes sense because he's freaking hilarious. Whoops. Yeah, now that we're away from Spawn, it's a lot better. Hey look, it's Java. The Java logo, but as a 3-dimensional cup of Java. Excellent. Uh-oh, is it missing part of the text? Nope, there it is. Okay, this is pretty incredible. Now that I'm away from Spawn, we can move around freely and see all this cool stuff with something resembling a reasonable frame rate. Seems to be an Arch Linux logo floating around. Yeah, we have draw distance set to the absolute minimum, which means we have to get nice and close to stuff to see what it is. Capstone logo. I mean, yeah, the frame rate is rough, but seriously, just the fact that we're playing it on this 1995 machine, that's absolutely incredible. Hey, look, it's Mac Pro trash can. Yeah, I can't believe it. This is great. Oh yeah, somebody made my logo there. This is my favorite piece right here, actually. Just this nice RAM module. Nice, simple, clean, and it looks great. It's also pretty funny hearing the Minecraft music coming out of this little speaker here. Okay, and now I think it's time to answer the question that you're probably all thinking. How well can this 1995 machine handle a whole bunch of dynamite in Minecraft? Well, I'm sorry, villagers, but, we're gonna have a little fun with your village. Okay, there's 12 TNTs. And, well, it did explode. Alright, it handled that pretty valiantly. Game didn't crash or anything. We have a big crater here. But let's try and push it to the limit. Give me a second here. Okay, so I may have gone a bit overboard here. I have no idea how much TNT is in here, but the important thing is this giant block here is completely solid. So if this doesn't crash the game, I will be very surprised. All right, 27-year-old computer. The sounds are still going, but the screen is completely frozen. No mouse response. But it's trying. Oh, there it goes. Well, it hasn't crashed. That's a lot more than I thought. Now it's catching up. Wow, valiant effort here, Power Wave. I think it's done. Mouse control is back. The ghost of the TNT is still there. Well, that's a little bit of destruction. Frame rate has become a slideshow still. Very impressive power computing and sonic crescendo. Alright, so that'll do it for these improbable Minecraft shenanigans. I'm really surprised at just how much of a valiant effort this machine made to play Minecraft, and in some situations even achieving a playable frame rate. This is definitely my favorite project and build that we've done so far on this channel. And I really can't believe I have such a rare upgrade that I was able to fix myself and get running and configured with all of this crazy stuff in this super rare power computing Power Wave Macintosh clone. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more Macintosh shenanigans like this, please subscribe down below, and thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Chris, Algreta, Tom, Stig124, Justin D. Morgan, Greg Hrutke, Chris Calderon, and Nick Hamsey, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters who help to make these videos possible.